Mr. Chairman, Member Scott Witch, on behalf of the California State Pipe Trades Council, the State Association of Electrical Workers, the California Coalition of Utility Employees, and the Western States Council of Sheet Metal Workers, and the Elevator Constructors Union, I'd just like to say at the outset that this bill is about, in my mind, really two main points. One is ensuring that we utilize more renewable baseload power that has zero GHG impacts, particularly in the LA basin, where we have met our needs at this with San Onofre nuclear facility going down, primarily with fossil-based fuels. And the PUC will come up here and say, we have more than enough power procured, we don't need this power. Well, that's all natural gas power. That is spewing pollution into the air. These peaker plants that were intended to burn 15% of the time during peak load demand have been running 24/7, and that's not good for anybody. Secondly, this is a job creator. It will create over 6,000 union building trades jobs in very short order. If you are a plumber, a pipe fitter, an insulator, or a boilermaker, you have virtually gotten no jobs out of this entire renewable energy revolution. And we still have 30% unemployment in those crafts. While all crafts will benefit from this, those particular crafts are the ones that are so desperate for these jobs. We, and personally, my clients, it's not in our interest to see any of the existing geothermal resources, be it in the chairman's district or be it in the Imperial Valley, go by the wayside. We are invested in those facilities. We do the maintenance work on those facilities. When it comes to the geysers, my family literally lives, my in-laws and my family literally lives across the street, Bottle Rock Road, on the peak that looks directly across at the geysers. I have family members and friends who work at the geysers. I spent 10 years of my career working for Mike Thompson, fighting to protect the geysers. That is not something we want to see endangered. So what we've done, working with the committee staff and the environmental community and others, is try to craft an amendment that will put those existing contracts on a better footing than they are today. If this bill fails, then those existing contracts, when they come up, are going to have to compete with whatever type of renewable power is available on the market. It's not a geothermal on geothermal discussion. Those contracts are going to have to compete with whatever solar, wind, biomass, whatever else is on the market. We want to do in this bill, we want to accomplish the goal of getting this 500 megawatts that we need in the state and the jobs that we need in the state, with the need to respect those contracts. So we have proposed an amendment that has been circulated to you that would, in essence, force the PUC to establish a rulemaking process to look at and evaluate those existing contracts, but not just with an eye towards the lowest cost and the best fit, but to look at all of those other intangible attributes of geothermal that make geothermal so valuable to our portfolio. To force them to look at and acknowledge the fact that this discussion about an RPS needs to move beyond just the issue of renewables and into a more serious discussion about greenhouse gases, because we are at some point going to get beyond the 2020 goals of AB 32 to a 2030 or 2040 sort of goals, and we need to have more green. We need the discussion to shift towards greenhouse gas free generation. So the amendment, I'm not going to read the entire thing to you. It's been distributed, but I think the key provision at the end says that the Commission shall revise its procurement review process to assure the value of existing facilities is properly accounted for when compared to alternative renewable and conventional resources, and ensure that facilities with expiring contracts are not disadvantaged by new procurements of new baseload generation when expiring contracts are considered for renewal. I think that you have to ask yourself the question, is those existing geothermal resources better off with the status quo if this bill should not pass today, or are we better off to have those resources have a process, have a forum, have a place where it can be evaluated with the factors laid out by this committee that the PUC needs to base that evaluation on. And so that's something that we put forward in complete sincerity and commit to continue to work with Assemblymember Chesbrough and the authors, the joint authors and committee staff, if this bill is to move forward, to strengthen this language and make it even more effective. I'll just conclude my comments with saying that a couple things I'd like the committee to keep in perspective. We're talking about 500 megawatts of power here over 10 years, folks. That's a drop in the bucket. That is less than 1% of the state's entire portfolio, and by the time we get to the end of the 10 years, it's going to be closer to half of 1%. This committee passed out last session, a few of you were here, not all of you, SB 1122 by Senator Rubio that provided a 250 megawatt set aside for biomass. The entire solar program is a mandate. We have mandates for storage that we supported, that Assemblywoman Skinner carried and was the pioneer in moving forward. So mandates are not new. This is a modest one. If you accept the argument that this bill, by generating new jobs and new renewable resources, is going to disadvantage existing contracts, if you take that leap, then you have to be consistent then going forward and oppose incentives and mandates for any other type of renewable. In fact, you should oppose every new renewable project that comes forward, because in essence, every new renewable project, regardless of technology, will compete at some point with existing contracts. So with that, I would just suggest that this is of vital importance to all of the building trades. We are working to make this a better bill. It's not a perfect bill, but we would ask for your confidence in us to move this forward and continue to work with the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wedge. And that was the substantive testimony. So on behalf of the members who have schedules to keep, I'll encourage everybody else to be as brief as possible. Next witness.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, members and staff. My name is Jan McFarland. I'm here on behalf of Energy Source. We support the bill and its amendments in its current form. We need to balance the RPS, we need to lower GHGs, and we need to make sure the existing contracts are extended. Thank you for your consideration.
Well, thank you for your brevity. Next witness.
Pleasure.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm Kelley from the Imperial Irrigation District, and all I really want to say today is that IID, in addition to being the nation's largest irrigation district, is also the state's third largest public power provider. And in the first reporting period, we made our RPS target based on the geothermal generation that we purchased from Energy Source that would have gone to Salt River Project in Arizona, which is the off-taker. In the second reporting period, we're also deriving some of that RPS portfolio from geothermal. And in the final RPS, we are in the process of drilling out at the Salton Sea known geothermal resource area with our public power brethren in Southern California, including Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, a geothermal facility that will, when it's completed, comprise about 8% of our total generation. So we believe in geothermal. All of our resources in the RPS come from our own backyard, and geothermal is a big part of that. Just as the status quo is the enemy of the Salton Sea, it's also the enemy of the entire geothermal industry. So what's needed is a refreshed procurement process and for the legislature to lead.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next witness.
Vince Signorati with Energy Source. In the interest of time, I will keep my remarks very brief. I echo the comments that have previously been made and encourage you to support this legislation. It's important to us and to the Imperial Valley. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next witness.
Mr. Chair, members, SRDS, on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council, I'd like to associate my comments also with those of Mr. Wetch. There are jobs here for boilermakers, iron workers, carpenters, laborers, operating engineers in an area that has been impoverished for a very long amount of time. And so this is an opportunity for them to actually have work. And thank you very much for all the meetings that you've had with us and your staff and other members of the committee here and try to address the issues of concern for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next witness.
Catherine Phillips on behalf of Sierra Club of California, we support.
Next witness.
Good morning, Chairman Chesbrough and committee members. My name is Jack Buckhorn. I'm business manager at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I've worked at the geysers. It's provided for my family. I've lived in Lake County for over 30 years and represent many members who would benefit by the jobs that would be created and the reduction in greenhouse gases in our area. So I urge your support for this bill as amended. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next witness.
Hi, my name is Kathy McLaren, and I am with the IBEW and the National Electrical Contractors Association, and I am very much in support of this bill. With all of our energy problems and everything, we cannot hold things up. This is necessary to go forward and keep these good jobs here. So please pass this on to the next place where it needs to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Good morning. My name is Dave Gomez, Executive Director for International Brotherhood Electrical Workers Union, Local 11, Los Angeles, and the National Electrical Contractors Association. I represent over 450 in LA County contractors, entrepreneurs. This would be good jobs, and they need coming in the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Good morning, Antonio Sanchez. I'm with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 11. So on behalf of our 12,000 members in LA County, we urge your support. But this isn't just important to the couple of locals that are present here today. This is important to every IBEW member in all of your districts. So we hope to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Caitlin Vega for the California Labor Federation. We are here in strong support. We believe this will create good jobs in communities that need it most. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Good morning. Randy Keller with Cal Energy Geothermal. We, like other operators in this existing facilities in the state of California, have 8 contracts that expire before 2021 also. Unlike other operators of existing utility or existing plants, we have been very successful in recontracting the majority of those contracts for another 25 years. And we're in negotiations to completely recontract 100% of our capacity. We support this bill. It's good for the geothermal industry, and we urge your support.
Thank you very much. Next witness.
Hello, Hailie Stir with Defenders of Wildlife. We support this bill. We believe it will help support significant fish and wildlife restoration projects in and around the Salton Sea. So we urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Hi, Johnny Simpson, Business Manager, IBEW, Local 569, San Diego and Imperial counties. Represent 3,300 IBEW electricians, and we do a lot of work in Imperial. Imperial Valley, as I'm sure you're aware, is one of the highest unemployment areas in the state of California and sometimes the nation. We need these jobs, and I urge your support. Thank you.
Thanks. Next witness.
I'm Mike Hartley with the United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, San Diego and Imperial counties, Local 230. Our 1,700 members between San Diego and Imperial counties can use these jobs. As you know, it's probably the highest unemployment in the state, and we support this bill. Thank you.
Next witness.
Good morning, Victoria Rome with Natural Resources Defense Council in support.
Thank you. Next witness.
Good morning, Tony Gazzetta from Local 38, represent the plumbers and pipe fitters in San Francisco. As we've talked about, with geothermal being the one renewable and clean energy technology that provides significant employment for pipe fitters and plumbers and insulators and boiler makers, many of the union members we represent. And so the economic recovery really hasn't hit past the Golden Gate Bridge and up to the Oregon border yet, and we really could use the jobs. And Chairman Chesbrough, you've been instrumental in helping us to create jobs, and we just ask for your support on this bill.
Thank you very much. Next witness.
Good morning. My name is Frank Reardon, a business agent with Local 38, also from San Francisco, Marin, Sonoma, Lake Counties, Mendocino, and I rise in support of this bill as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Steve Ponder, Executive Director with the Geothermal Resources Council, have about 1,200 members and represent people from developers to operators to university professors. We support the bill for the new. We also support existing, so we'd like to see more geothermal with good public policy going forward.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pettis, did you want to say anything?
I think we have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Mr. Chesbrough, thank you. Chairman and members of the committee, Gary Wyatt representing the County of Imperial and its Board of Supervisors who have partnered together in a historic MOU with Imperial Irrigation District on the Salton Sea Initiative has been created to use resources such as this to help restore and mitigate the impacts of water transfer from the Imperial Valley to the urban areas. And our county is in support of this particular bill and the amendments. It gives us opportunity to continue to work with folks from all sides to address the issues and concerns that they have, and we look forward to doing that.